best place for below average Star Wars.
Hello there, and welcome to the Star Wars Show, the best place for below-average Star Wars. Your Geordie Jedis are back this week to break down some small but high-quantity happenings this week in the Star Wars world. It's Geordie Jedi Pete and Geordie Jedi Allan. Allan, how are you doing?
Good morning, Pete. How's up, everybody?
Yeah, we're all good, man. We're all good. Let's just dive straight in. So first things first, there's been a little rumour flying around. It was on some of the dirt sheets of Star Wars news, those clickbait websites. So we're just going to quickly address off the top. That is that obviously it's known that Kathleen Kennedy's Lucasfilm contract runs through till 2021. Right. And it's sort of, she's probably going to retire after that point. Mm-hmm. Maybe taking on, like, producing a few dream projects, passion projects after that point, but like not sort of being president of the studio.
Yeah.
And it was sort of rumoured this week that George Lucas is going to come in and replace her to be president of Lucasfilm.
Yeah, I heard this one. Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, it just sounds really stupid because at the end of the day, George Lucas sold his company because he'd had enough. He'd had enough of being called names by fans and being hounded by fans. Mm-hmm. And why would you sell your company where you've got 100% control to then return as president to where you're going to be running the company that you started with your name above it?
Uh-huh.
But you're going to have to answer to someone else. In other words, you're going to have to answer to Bob Iger in the Disney company. Yeah. It just sounds really, really stupid and far-fetched if you break it down like that, I think.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think it is a bit far-fetched. I mean, nice thinking, nice idea, but can't see it happening.
I don't think I'd want him to come back and run it that way. Like, I think, like, he chose. It wouldn't have been a quick decision for him to sell the company and retire. Like, do you know what I mean? He would have thought about that, and he would have made like a conscious decision. So I think if he was coming back, like, I'd question like why he was coming back. That doesn't mean I want him gone from Star Wars. Like, I would love for him to give him a movie or a little TV series or a little side project. I love for him to come and write and direct something for Lucasfilm. I would love that for George to come back and make a movie or make a TV show or direct an episode of a TV show. I think that would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I just think like he made the decision that he was sort of done running the company.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the guy's retired. You know what I mean?
Well, he's retired. He's remarried. He's obviously George is sort of a very good human being. He a lot of his children are adopted. I know that he adopted a new child when he got remarried. So like, it's not as if he's doing nothing. Like, he is being a family man and raising a kid.
Exactly.
And he's still building his museum, the Lucas Museum in Art of Art as well. So like, that's a big project. So yeah, like for me, I think it's silly to say he's going to come and replace Kathleen Kennedy, because I think like he's essentially give all the power away and then come back and work for someone who's not him in the place that he built. It's essentially the case of, this is what it's like. It's like if you watch or read Roald Dahl's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, it's like Willy Wonka coming back to work for Charlie.
Yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah.
After he's give Charlie the chocolate factory, he's given it away.
Yeah.
It's essentially like that. It's just silly, isn't it?
Because he's just going to have a job as a janitor when he comes back.
Yeah. So like, do you know what I mean? Imagine him coming back and having all these ideas, and then like someone going, "Oh, well, sorry, but actually we don't want to do that." It would be like, well, hang on a sec. Before, when I was here, I could just do what I wanted.
I mean, it's a lovely idea and it's a nice thought. But yeah, like I said, I don't think so. The guy's retired, you know what I mean? He'd had enough, you know what I mean? And I think he's probably found his love for Star Wars again. So he'll be also thinking, well, if I go back into it, I'm probably just going to get as stressed as what he got before. So
definitely, especially with like some aspects of the fandom hound people. Like, you would certainly be hounded, and like I think at the end of the day as well, like I think, you know, sort of, I don't know, from a Disney point of view, hiring George to be president, it will be a case of like, you get a lot of buzz at the beginning of it, but like, I guarantee you right now that like George and Bob Iger aren't going to say eye to eye on everything, especially some creative decisions, and then before you know it, you've got problems where like similar to what I had with Solo, similar to what I had with Star Wars Episode 9, where like you're having to like fire directors, and like you might need George, like, and then if they've got to fire George after they're hiring the president again, like, it's just more bad press that they really don't need. But like I said, for that to happen, you'd have to get George back, and I don't think he would come back in that role. But like I said, I'm all for George coming back, like as to direct a movie, write a movie, or to direct a TV show, like just something small and offshoot. I would love to see a George Lucas movie again.
Yeah, or even just write. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just consult in the background. It'd be brilliant.
Definitely. Moving on from that, we've had a couple of date changes. Obviously, they announced was probably 2 years ago now. They announced that obviously the next Star Wars movies are going to be released in December in the years 2022, 2024, 2026. Obviously, it's not really a case of like this is ironclad. It was more of a case of like that's what Disney's pencil, because you remember Disney have like Pixar, they have their own movies, they have their own animated movies, they have Marvel movies, and they have Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
So it's like five things all in the connect where you don't want your movies running into each other at the box office. So sort of set these dates out in conjunction with like all the other sort of properties they own, all the other studios they own, and it's essentially just to make sure that like that nothing sort of overlaps into the others. So for me, I always took this with like that's what they're planning for, but like that could change, and it won't be because anything's gone wrong. It'll just be a case of like the project never got started in time and things like that. So they've announced today that that they've moved those dates back a year. So the next movie will be December 2023, and then December 2025, and then December 2027. So it's 1 year out for each of them, which is basically due to COVID. I think obviously like just think these projects haven't got started yet because simple fact is you can't start them during this COVID era. You've also got to remember that like current projects that are ongoing, they're probably going to finish a bit later. So if you've got guys and staff and creatives who are going to move from one project to the next, like your concept artists and your visual effects guys, they're probably working on projects that are running a bit long at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, if one thing moves, everything's got to move. That's just the way it is, you know.
Definitely. So I think it totally makes sense to move all three right now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Perfect sense. And also, you're not going to be one of these guys who's like, "Oh, it's because they're having trouble behind the scenes." I think like, no, they're not having trouble behind the scenes. What it is that the world is in trouble right now.
Exactly. We need to heal ourselves, man.
Yep. So I imagine that December 2023 releases, people are still believing it is the Taika Waititi directing movie. So
yeah, didn't he just say the other day that he's just starting to write it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So like, he'll just be starting to write it. I imagine if he's had any work, if he's been working on The Mandalorian season 2, that's due to come out on time this year, this autumn. But I bet the production side of it has went a bit longer.
Yeah.
Obviously, they had already shot everything, so that's good. But I bet the post-production side of it, I bet has gone a little bit longer than they anticipated because of this. Not too long, it's delayed the show. But again, it just means that those guys who are on it haven't been freed up to move on to whatever's next. And if he's been, I'm not sure if he's involved in season 2, but if he is, then that could affect him. But yeah, definitely. So yeah, I think those dates, it's the right thing to do to move them. It's a good thing to move them all, and it just, like I said, it just means that you're not moving it too close to the time. Like, do you know what I mean? You're not waiting until next year to move them. But I think, like, ideally, especially within America, where like it seems in America, COVID hasn't hit its peak yet, which is worrying. And I hope all American listeners are staying safe out there.
For sure.
But like, there's no way they're going to be on like an open set anytime in the next 6 months. I don't think.
I don't think so neither. I really don't.
Unless something drastically changes over there. So again, like, you got to think movie theaters aren't even in America. Movie theaters have just been put back again, like, and they're going to keep getting put back in because the spike's not here yet. Sorry, the peak's not here yet, and it just seems to keep spiking over there. So I think obviously, like, it's difficult, and you got to think when movie theaters do open, there's like a backlog of movies to come out. Disney's Mulan, one of them is Tenet. There's a backlog of movies that were due to come out in March that were done, and like they've still got to come out. The new James Bond 007, like that's done, that needs to come out. Like, so you got to think that like keeping these dates, the movies before these dates have now shuffled.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to shuffle your dates as well. Like I said, make sure you've got a free lane at the box office. Make sure now it's overcrowding you.
Yeah, exactly.
So to me, it makes perfect sense, and I'm down for it. Very good decision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also that have come out in time and said it. You know what I mean? And like you say, it hasn't been a last minute thing. You know. Oh, by the way, next month when it's supposed to be, it's not coming out. You know, type of thing. It's it's good timing.
And also, like, if you look at like Rise of Skywalker, like obviously, like they had a different movie written in pre-production, which was Jewel of the Faith by Colin Trevorrow. They then switched it up to Rise of Skywalker with a totally different director, and he's wrote a totally different movie with Chris Terrio. And then, like I said, that's come out at the same slot. And like, in my opinion, I feel like you can feel the rushed nature of it a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think like at least this gives the creatives on those movies gives them that extra year that they've lost here. So they've got the same amount of time to work on the movie rather than going, oh well, you can't work because of COVID, but when you come back we're still on the movie at the same time, so guess what, you've only got 6 months now or you're 1 year now or whatever it is. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. You know, yeah. And I don't want them to put a rushed movie out. You know, yeah, you really want to go back, when you finish doing what you're doing and say, you know, that's the best I could have done. Not, oh God, I was like so stressed out that, you know, any old that'll do. You know what I mean? Right, on to the next one.
100%, mate.
You know, so yeah.
Moving on from that, even though our movies have been pushed back, like that's not a bad thing for me because as we're going to talk about next, like there's so many things coming out in the next year. So like they've announced Bad Batch, which is a new Disney Plus animated series coming in 2021, which is a spin-off from the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Where we follow Clone Force 99, which is Sergeant Hunter, it's Wrecker, it's Crosshair, and it's Tech. The 4 clones we met at the beginning of season 7 of the Clone Wars. Right. They're getting their own spin-off show, which is apparently going to be set after the events of Order 66, which is going to be very fun. But yeah, that's coming in 2021. Obviously, to me, that sounds like that's pretty much. I imagine they've already shot that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be adding the finishing touches to the animation, and probably recording additional dialogue. But like that'll be like more or less in the bag. How that looks, I think.
Yeah, I think that's in the can. I think that's ready to go. You know.
So it goes to show you. Yeah, so it goes to show you that they've been working on things like rapidly behind the scenes, and obviously glad that hasn't leaked. And I think we would have got that at Celebration, obviously, because there's no Celebration this year. They've obviously dropped that news this week, which is really, really cool. So again, it goes to show, you know, no movie in 2022, but in the day in 2021, we're going to have the Bad Batch. So we're going to get a new TV series right there. I'm hoping to get more than 12 episodes. I'm hoping to get like a good 22 episode season.
Yeah, me too. Probably about 20 episodes. You know, like with the Mandalorian with only 8. You know, it was brilliant, but it seemed too short to me. You know,
I think with the Mandalorian, you've got obviously budget constraints with like how much that costs per episode, and I think obviously.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I think with animation, obviously it's expensive, but it's all done in house and stuff, and like I think obviously they've got it down with Clone Wars. I feel with Clone Wars season 7, obviously they had to make it short out of the box into the Order 66 time frame, so you couldn't do too much with it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think
with.
Go on.
So I think with this one, obviously with the Bad Batch, obviously we don't know what happens to them after Order 66, so like you can that story you can tell however you want to tell it because it's unknown. There's no end point, there's no middle point. We've only got a start point, which is fantastic. So I think like that could run for like multiple seasons, and like I said, give them more than 12 episodes, please. And I think like for me, I'm excited because like I've got a feeling the Bad Batch like don't have the inhibitor chips.
Yeah, it must be something like that. It has to be something like that.
So I hope they're not working for the Empire. I hope they're working for themselves.
Mercenaries,
or whether maybe they're like freedom fighters, so whether they're like trying to, so not part of the rebellion, but whether like they work for them, like sort of like the Avengers. So they're like, all right, there's a crime syndicate over there. We'll go and take that down, infiltrate and take it down themselves. Imagine them taking down the Hutts or taking down the Pikes or taking down Black Sun, that type of thing.
Yeah, a bit like the 18 type of thing.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Like you could totally like do that. I think it would be like it would be hilarious, action packed. You could really make it deep in places when you need to. Because I've just realised it'll also be I forgot his name, the other clone. who joined them as well.
What's his name again?
I will do a quick check.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
It's not Echo, is it Echo? Is it
I think
Echo?
it was Echo. Yeah, it was Echo.
Oh, I was going to say Echo, and I was like, I'm going to double check. So I've got
Echo,
about five clone names going from my head at once. Yeah, it's Echo. So yeah, so it's obviously those guys and Echo. So like five of them now. So for me,
I just want them rocking around the galaxy in a black spaceship with a red stripe going down it. I'll be happy with that.
Well, I'm sure they could totally like subtly dress it in certain ways. But I think give them more than 20 episodes a season. Give her like multiple seasons. Like I said, you haven't got a middle or an end. You've literally just got the start. Where like, do you know what I mean? Like when we're into the prequels, we had the ending already. When we come to Clone Wars, like I said, we've got the ending already before, but we've just watched it and it was great to watch. But this is going to be like, this can run for as long as they want it to run, really. So as long as they're telling good stories, run it for as long as you can. So I'm excited for that. So that's a brand new animated show coming to 2021. That's been announced. Off the back of Disney Plus, more Disney Plus stuff. Obviously, no celebration this year, as I mentioned. So they reckon we're probably getting the Mandalorian season 2 trailer August.
Oh, cool.
So it's the 24th of July. We're talking now. So I reckon like sometime in the next 1 to 4 weeks time frame, I'd imagine.
Cool. Just in time for my birthday. I'll have that.
Yeah. So that's not confirmed, but I just think I think definitely because that show, like I said, it filmed principal photography on time. They're now doing post production on it, which they can do from home. They don't need to be in the studio or at the office working on. So although it might take a bit longer to do it from home, people working from home, it's still going to probably come out in its original time slot, which is cool. So that'll be like this autumn, mate. So that's what I mean. Even though, like I said, those movies got put back, we've got Bad Batch coming next year. We've got Mandalorian season 2 coming end of this year.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We've got plenty of Star Wars coming, so we're sort of like we've got plenty of treats coming our way. Do you know what I mean?
And I like it that way because it gives you time to digest things before you're moving on to the next one. Like, I mean, as much as I loved everything coming out, it was a little bit too much by the end, and it was like hard to digest stuff. I mean, like confession, I've only watched Rise of the Skywalker fully through only once, and that was at the cinema. Since it's been back on the TV and on Disney Plus, and I've just caught little bits here and there. Like one time I catch the beginning bit, or the next time I catch the end bit, and I have probably watched the whole thing about 9 or 10 times, but watched once all the way through, just once. You know.
I mean, I watched it 4 times in theaters, and I've probably watched it once on Disney Plus since it came out.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not my favorite of the movies, so I'll probably watch it less than the others. But like I said, I've seen it 5 times all the way through.
Yeah, it just gives you time to digest things. That's all. You know, which is pretty cool.
Definitely. With Mando season 2, what you're hoping to see in the trailer? Obviously, we've had a lot of leaks. Obviously, over the case of COVID since March to now, a lot of leaks about Ahsoka, a lot of leaks about Boba Fett, a lot of leaks about Timothy Olyphant playing a character who stole Boba Fett's armor. We've had leaks about apparently Sabine coming in. Like, there's been a lot of leaks coming out of that show. Whether some of them are lies or not, we don't know because Lucas hasn't confirmed anything. For me, it's a case of I think like if some of this stuff is true, I hope they'll whack it in this trailer because it's a case of like through whether it's their fault or not. I like to think it is their fault how they handled it, but like these leaks have happened, so like now you need to like if say Ahsoka is real, say Rosario Dawson is Ahsoka in season 2. I think because that's been leaked, get that in that trailer.
Yeah, even if it's like a 2-second flash.
Oh, definitely. Doesn't have to be much. Just like show that, like yes, that is confirmed. That's how it looks. It looks awesome.
Yeah, or even if you have like a shot from the back, you know what I mean. So you know Ahsoka's there, but you don't actually see the full frontal. You don't see what's going on. You know what I mean?
100%, mate. So like, I hope they stick with that. But yeah, I hope like whichever ones of these leaks have been or leaks or rumors have been true. That, do you know what I mean? Like I said, something like Slash Film and some of these are respectable publications. You know what I mean? So like, if they've run the story, I'm guessing they've got sources on it for some of them. And it's like, if some of it is true, and like just show it now, show it in this trailer. Don't mess about. Like, do you know what I mean? It's your fault. It's sort of your fault you didn't come out the bag with it yourselves. When you heard that this was going to get leaked, you should have just dropped it yourselves. So now we're just showing now.
Yeah, I think for the adverts, for me, you know what I'd absolutely love to see just for the first couple of weeks or so would just be like the helmet come on screen for about 10 seconds, and that was it. No writing, no nothing, just the Mandalorian's helmet on the screen for about 5 seconds, and then back off. You know what I mean? It would just be so cool. You'd be sitting there watching whatever, and it's like, all this comes on, and you're like, ooh.
Yeah, no, definitely, mate. It'd be awesome. Moving on from that, we've got some High Republic announcements. Obviously, High Republic is the new publishing initiative from Disney Lucasfilm. It was due to come out this summer. It got pushed to the beginning of next year now. We didn't say why, but I'm assuming just for, again, COVID-related reasons. Maybe there were some books that weren't finished yet. Because it's across books, so it's across novels, YA books, children's books, and comics. So it's across like at least 4 different mediums.
I reckon they'll end up being a kick-ass game coming out of it as well.
A game or even a TV show. Like, do you know what I mean? It could literally be anything. Or it could be one of these movies, like I said. We know that Taika Waititi is doing one of these movies for 2023, 2025, 2027. But there's another 2 movies there. And like, I'd get the feeling Taika's not doing a series. I got the impression Taika's doing one. So it's like there's other dates there, and also like they're a movie studio. Like they can add more dates whenever they want. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, I mean, for me, obviously, the High Republic news that came out is that they've given it a bit more look, some more artwork. So the show obviously this probably would have come out with Celebration as well, or maybe San Diego Comic-Con, which was meant to be this week but is now online.
I think it would have been one hell of a drop this coming out of Celebration. I really do.
Yeah, so we've got Celebration. Obviously, there is a Lucasfilm publishing panel at San Diego Comic-Con this weekend. So obviously, San Diego Comic-Con's now 100% online because of COVID, and that Lucasfilm publishing panel is taking place online. So check that out this weekend, guys. So off the back of that, they sort of announced on StarWars.com and on their This Week in Star Wars show on YouTube, they've introduced us a new character called Skia, and he's a Trandoshan Jedi. They've showed us some artwork for him. He looks like he looks a little shorter than normal Trandoshans, but more bulky.
Yeah, he's pretty cool, isn't he? I'm kind of feeling he's going to be a little bit of a like in between Sith and Jedi, if Sith were a thing at the time.
Well, the Sith will be a thing, but I think they'll be in hiding. So like the Sith are still secret at the minute. So the Jedi, I think they're extinct. Obviously, up until Mace Windu says that line in Phantom Menace, he's like, "Well, the Sith have been extinct for a millennia." Not Mace Windu, sorry, Kylo Mundi says that, I think, in the Jedi Council in the Phantom Menace. He says the Sith have been extinct for a millennia. And this High Republic series takes place 100 years before Phantom Menace.
Right.
So the Jedi will still believe that the Sith are still extinct, I believe. This Trandoshan, like I said, looks a bit shorter than normal. He looks stocky. He looks strong, ready to fight. And they've said that he's called Skia. He's a Trandoshan Jedi, and they've said that he's holding a deep secret that's threatening to tear him apart. So again, like that's sort of that very Anakin-like, obviously keeping secrets that and you can't share it with people, and it sort of leads to fear and it leads to anger. So maybe he is going to go dark side, or maybe he's keeping a secret about what's out there in the world. Because the High Republic, obviously, it's the Jedi going out to like the frontier systems in the Outer Rim for the first time and sort of trying to spread the Republic's word and their word and that type of thing. And it's got a very sort of Wild West going into the frontier type of feel.
Maybe he just go as Palpatine.
Maybe, I mean, who knows? I don't know why you keep that secret, but I said maybe if he's feeling a bit dark and he wants to keep it a secret. Because I don't know how old Palpatine is, to be fair. So like, I don't know if he'll even be alive, but he could be.
He could be like a Yoda, you know what I mean? Like 700 odd years old.
Well, because they've done all this clone thing now, like who's to say that the Palpatine we see in the sequel, in the prequels, trilogy and the original trilogy isn't another clone? Like, I think it gets silly at that point, but I think because they've now done that, like, there's nothing to say that's not the case. Yeah. But yeah, so Skia, I really like the look of him. I'm glad we're getting a Trandoshan Jedi. And I'm glad that they're sort of teasing that he's got a bit of a secret, a bit of an edge. And then we also showed us our hero, Ava Chris, who's a blonde-haired Jedi, who's I think she's gonna be the main focus of the series. And essentially showed her the pictures we've seen in the past are her in like flowing sort of white, lovely posh robes, and then we've just seen her now in some like sort of leather clad robes and leather gauntlets. So it's more like the gear she's going to be wearing when she's out on the frontier adventuring. Obviously, this is set like 100 years before Phantom Menace, so it's the Jedi aren't going to have the stuff that happened in the Clone Wars, because obviously they get a lot of that made for the Clone Wars. So they're going to be adventuring. They're going to be. I like the look. I like the leather look and the gauntlet look. It reminds us a bit of like Lord of the Rings esque when sort of Boromir, how Boromir looks in the Fellowship of the Ring.
It does actually.
So because he's armored up, but it's like leather, so it's not like metal. So it was like very similar to that.
Yeah.
And it also reminded me of how Luke Skywalker looks in The Last Jedi, when he's not in his Jedi robes, when he's in his brown robes, in the brown leather. So it reminded me of that. So again, like Star Wars' pottery, as George said. And here we're getting sort of this sort of look here, where obviously this is set before that, but who's to say Luke didn't style that off of what he read about these Jedi in the High Republic era?
Could have quite easily.
Yeah, so like I'm loving those concept art looks that, like, obviously the new character Skier, great to see him, and then obviously great to see a little different outfit look for Ava Chris. And I reckon we're going to get some good adventure, because she's dressed up for adventure now, so going to see some rough and tumble, going to see some seriousness. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it does look good. I'm getting more and more intrigued by this as it goes along.
Yeah,
I am starting to look forward to this one.
and I'm glad, like, it's really cool, because like normally with books, they're just sort of like any other company in the world would just like drop the book.
Yeah,
but like with this, it's like, oh, we're dropping concept art for the book, and like, do you know what I mean? Like that's cost time and money, but like it's class, because like we can see, like I said, we've saw that Trandoshan Jedi now. Like, I'll get him and know what he looks, and we've got like a feel for him. So it's a little tease, but we don't know anything about him, so it's not going to hurt the story, but it's going to really enhance the story, because we've seen him. And like I said, Ava Chris, we've seen her like one way, sort of how she looks elegant when she's probably like on Coruscant with the Jedi, or whichever temple, on whatever planet she's on. And then obviously now we've got like a crusading look, maybe that's the wrong word, crusading, but a frontierin look. So we've got to look for that now, and look for the adventure, which is like, again, any other novel company in the world, like you wouldn't get that. But with this, it's like, yeah, we've got concept artists working on stuff, guys. Here you go. Yeah. And obviously, because it is tying in with comics, they probably had to do that. And also because it's tying in across different types of book and comics. Obviously, there's different writers working on different stories, but essentially using the same characters in the same space. Yeah. So that's probably why it's been important to bring concept artists in, so that all those authors are on the same page. Yeah. For it to seem organic, but then obviously the side effect of that is you can then release to us these awesome concept art as well, which again gets our saliva going and gets us excited.
And I think also I think this is going to be. It feels to me like it's a big Star Wars reset, like somebody's pressed the reset button, and we're going to have this whole we're talking about this in 10 years' time. I don't know about have this whole new Star Wars section, with it's all of its split offs and all the rest of it. Yeah, that's how it kind of feels to me. I mean, it'd be pretty cool.
I don't like the word reset, because I get the sense that like you're deleting what's come before. If you reset the computer, do you know what I mean? So I think what they're doing is that, like, I mean, there's through history, there's so much stuff. So like in Star Wars has a history, so it's like you can just go and tell stories anywhere you want.
I think what I mean by a reset is a lot of stories are the first few stories were all went off what was said in the New Hope, and then the next lot was set off by them, what was said in them films. Then the next lot was set off by that, and set off by that, and eventually, you kind of storytelling wise, you were a little bit tied in. You were a little bit constrained to the timelines and things. By this, you're going back 100 years, so you can really start and end where you want to. You're not constrained by anything. So that's what I mean by a reset.
Yeah. I totally get what you mean. There's just that word. Like, I think there's people who'll be like the cancel culture of the world, and like in the reset button. Like, I think that's. I like to see this as just we're just going to a new era. It's a new era of Star Wars storytelling. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's people who are like, we need to reset Star Wars because George ruined it in the prequels. Like, that's where that terminology comes from online, I think. And
I'm not into that. I don't. Into that.
Which I know you're not.
Yeah. It's been written. You watch it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
100%. And that's what's cool about this like I said, like this era is going to be class because like there's not tied into anything, as you just said.
Yeah,
On. So like
exactly.
you absolutely bang on with that. We're like,
Mhm.
and we're getting these little looks, but apart from these little concept arts, we don't really know much about nothing hardly about this era. So it's like it's going to be so much fun reading.
I don't think I really want to right until the actual point of starting to read it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I want to just get the first book and then just like sit with it, read it all before I check any online chatter, before I listen to any podcast on it, read it all, and then you'll be ready. Like nothing will get spoiled for you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of new things in this, new things that like no one knows.
Yeah.
And like when everyone starts to talk about it all together, it's going to be class because we're all going to come from it, all going to come at it from like a fresh perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's going to be so much fun.
It is a new Star Wars.
Yep. He also announced that so there's going to be a link to Lars and Tekka from the character from the from the sequel trilogy. Obviously, he's he believes in the Force. He believes in the Church of the Force. And he's a friend Luke Skywalker's, and he hunts Force artifacts.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he knows the Skywalker as well, and he is the man who Kylo Ren, Ben Solo slices at point blank range at the beginning of the Force Awakens.
Yeah.
He also appears in the Peter Allan comics. He gets a really good run in there. So what we've heard here is that, like, obviously he won't be alive at this point because obviously this series will be set, probably 160 years. At least this series is set 160 years at least before the Force Awakens, I think. So obviously he's definitely not alive, but they've said that, like, his family's going to be linked to these High Republic stories.
Yeah.
Which I find really cool because obviously, I think religion typically is passed. It's in the family normally. It's passed down and stuff. And like you go to church because your mum went to church, and then you become a Christian or you become whatever religion you are because your parents were, and they became it because their parents were, and so on and so forth. Or certainly that's the traditional way anyway. So I think that obviously, like, it makes sense that like if his family, if Lars and Tekka's descendants were part of the Church of the Force, then that would make sense to why he would be. So if we're going to see sort of early aspects of because we don't really know anything about the Church of the Force, so
well, I mean, Jeddah hasn't been blown up yet, you know what I mean? So I mean, there's a good chance that it could actually be based, well, not based around, but they could show a lot of Jeddah in the Church of the Force, you know.
I think not just Jeddah. I think like definitely Jeddah, but I think it's wider than that. So I think when we come into the Phantom Menace, the Jedi are already dwindling.
Yeah.
But we're going here at like the height of the Jedi, so like the Force is probably talked about. It's probably not a secret or believed to be a myth as much.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably like I think people know who the Jedi are, like they've seen them, and they're still held in like a light of glory.
Yeah.
So I think like a Church of Force will be like people who don't have the Force and be like, oh yeah, but the Jedi are good, so like we like them and believe in the Force type of thing. And obviously, as the Jedi start to dwindle, obviously that light starts to go out. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, my granddad talks about this, but like, I don't know what he's talking about. Do you know what I mean? Where I think, where I think in this era, with the High Republic era, it's going to be like the people are going to know, like, oh yeah, I know about that.
Yeah, I get that.
So I like how they haven't told much, but it's really, really wet appetite for it. Mentioning that we might get some Church of the Force content, which would certainly make sense. And imagine if, like, like I said,
will you get some Star Wars chairs in the church? You know,
probably. But here's the thing as well. So if you've got obviously the Jedi are spreading out to like the frontier systems in the Outer Rim. Maybe these Church of the Force guys are going there as well, like trying to spread the word.
Could be. I think that's a lot of that's going to be about as well, like spreading out and searching new galaxies out and that kind of thing. Or I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know, and I don't really want to speculate. I just want to enjoy.
Yeah, well, it's going to be awesome, mate. Like I said, it's going to be not hard, but like you have to find some time, both of us, because everyone who wants to do it. Because, like I said, it's going to be across. I think I've seen at least 5 book titles. It's going to be across to start with.
Cool.
And a comic.
Wow, you know what I mean?
That's the start with. That's the first wave, and I haven't really announced like where it's going. But I imagine like the amount of world building they're putting into this. Like I said, with the concept artists, with the meetings with all the different writers, with running it across different mediums, like the amount of world building is huge. So I'd imagine you would run that at different phases. So if this is phase 1, like I imagine it'll run to a phase 2 and a phase 3. And like I said, we've said it'll probably stay in publishing, but there's no reason why they can't move it into publishing and then cross it over with animation or cross it over with TV shows or even a movie. So This is just the beginning, really, of the era.
I've just had a thought. How old's Chewbacca?
I've forgotten. I think he's like 136 or something when he meets Han. And
So
off the
wouldn't
top
he
of my
like just be old enough to be in it?
head. So he could be like
Could be.
an infant Chewie.
Yeah. I mean, Yoda was pretty in with the Wookiees, and that seemed to be a deep rooted thing. You know what I mean? So.
And in the first lots of concept art of the show, when they first announced this at the beginning of the year, there was a Wookiee Jedi in the concept art.
That's right. Yeah.
So it definitely makes sense for something like to happen to tie in. Maybe meet Chewbacca as like dad or something.
Yeah,
Chewbacca's family.
Maybe Chewbacca's dad's a Jedi.
Maybe, or maybe it's like I don't know. Like maybe you will see like a Chief Tarful if he's still there.
Aye, why not?
Because he ties in a lot to you haven't played Jedi for now, have you, Alan? So there's a Jedi there, Cordova, who's chasing down these like Force beings,
All right,
from the past, like a long time in the past, and like he's kind of a bit nuts, it seems like, but he talks about how he's friends with Tarful, and he hides something in this big tree. It's like the Tree of Life on Kashyyyk. He hides something there.
Oh.
You've got to go find it, but like Cordova speaks about, he's a Jedi Master. He speaks about like how important Kashyyyk is to the Force, and he's very good friends with Tarful. And like I said, he hides something there. He like picks there for a reason. Do you know what I mean? There's obviously connections to the Force and the Jedi. And like I said, when the droids attack the Wookiees, the Jedi Council are very quick to act.
Yeah, it's a very deep rooted connection there.
Like it gets brought up straight away by Cardi Mundi, and then Yoda's like, I'll go.
Yeah.
Like it's not a case of we'll send Kenobi or Skywalker.
Yeah, it's just like hold me, Pierre. I'm on me.
He's like, I'm going to go. He doesn't even put up the question. He goes, I'll go.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely big connections to the Force and the Jedi Council, I think, there for Kashyyyk. So 100% mate, definitely on the cards, I think.
Yeah.
Moving on from that, Galaxy's Edge. So they've announced some exclusive Galaxy's Edge products.
How cool is this?
I wonder if this has been planned all along, or if this is a case of like the parks are only open at restricted times now because of COVID, and it's whether it's a case of selling some stuff. But it is differently packaged, and it's some figures that weren't available in the parks yet. So maybe it is exclusive. But in America, it's exclusive to Target, so there's one store. And there's
can we get Target stuff in the UK?
So I'll talk you through it, because I can tell you where you can get some stuff. So this is announced as a Target exclusive, and it has items along the kind of the Hasbro Vintage Collection Millennium Falcon. So it's the Smuggler's Run version from the ride, and it comes with the Hondo figure, Chewbacca with Porgs, the new satellite dish, and it comes with cargo crates from the game, from the ride. So that is for the 3/4 inch figures, and it's going for around $400. I think at line you can pre-order it now for $400 at Target. There's Black Series 6-inch figures, which I know me and you both collect, Alan. So there is a 6-inch Captain Cardinal. So he's like a red Captain Phasma from the first.
Yeah, he looks good. He looks real good.
So he's from the book Black Spire Outpost. Black Spire, sorry. And he's also in another book, I think, by the same author, based around sort of the First Order and the Resistance being on.
Is he the one that was in the Phasma book?
I think he's in the Phasma book. He's mentioned the Phasma book, and then he's in this Black Spire book as well.
Yeah.
So he wears a crimson suit. So he's up for pre-order as well at Target, and so is. So do you know Star Tours? Do you know? Obviously, you used to have Captain Rex, or Rex-23 was the pilot. Obviously, he's no longer the pirate. It's C-3PO now.
Yeah.
But DJ Rex is now the DJ inside Oga's Cantina, which is in Galaxy's Edge, the theme park. So if you go to Galaxy's Edge, you can go to the book Cantina, and like he's the DJ. You can see him in the DJ booth playing the tracks.
Cool.
Oga doesn't have a band. She has Rex DJing. So they've released the DJ Rex figure. It has with Black Series 6 in.
Cool.
So that's the two that have been announced. So those are available to pre-order at Target in America. So it looks like they're available to pre-order at Star Action Figures in the UK.
All right, cool.
So they're available to pre-order Star Action Figures, but I get the impression that they're probably going to pop up So I haven't had this confirmed, but what I gather is that like a lot of these US exclusives that are like planned to certain, so these ones that are Target, and then Walmart has its own exclusives as well.
Yeah.
Obviously in the UK we usually can't get them. Like it's hard to find them. But for this year, I think Hasbro are making them available to or
at least giving you a chance of getting them
to retailers. So obviously Star Action figures can go, oh yes, please, I'll take those. I'll take X amount of those if you've got them. And I think other retailers might, so like you might even get a chance. I don't know for sure, but I reckon some will rock up in Forbidden Planets and some will rock up in like your other sort of nerd culture, geek culture shops, sci-fi stores type of thing. But they're definitely up for pre-order on Star Action figures here in the UK, because I've seen them. And he put up like wanting to give me more one about this, but only just been told about it an hour ago. So again, like it's a case of like I think Hasbro UK were just like, oh, guess what? Like these are available if you want to put your name in for them, type of thing, like the stores, and like he has, so you can get them there. There's also droids available for like similar droids what you build at Droid Depot, but obviously you don't build it yourself; it comes pre-packaged. Remote control BB unit. That's, I don't know where that is in the UK, but it's available at Target. And there's also some Pop Funkos coming out as well. Available at Target. Not sure where they are in the UK yet.
Sounds cool. Sounds very good.
Very cool. So like that Captain Cornell figure looks delicious.
It's very well made. It's very well made.
Yeah. So
and I've
always wanted an RX-23 figure. I've always wanted a Captain Rex figure from Star Tours. Because he's my first memory of Star Tours is Rex. And his head popping up in the cockpit, and it was like an animatronic, and it was just like so real and outrageous and fun, and made us laugh loads. He's obviously voiced by Pee Wee Herman. He is, yeah. The guy who
really?
I think it's Paul Rubens. I might be getting his name wrong, but the guy who is Pee Wee Herman, he voices RX-23, always has, and then he did come back and record the voice for the DJ.
I never knew that. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm excited to get both those figures, hopefully. Fingers crossed. We'll come to the end of the news, I think. So one last thing is that so on July 21st, 1978, Star Wars was re-released in theaters in America. So it just finished its initial run from 77 to 78, and then it got re-released in 78 again. And I just wanted to bring this up because I think it's really cool. So like people are like, oh, like George changed it from 1997 to special editions. But George was always changing things. So in this re-release, so 1 year on, there's a new line of dialogue.
Yeah.
C-3PO has a line about the Death Star tractor beam. And I just find that really cool. Like, so like George was always is like a master storyteller and always searching for the perfect story. And it goes out for the re-release. He's already tweaked part of the story.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, I never really ever thought George Lucas changed things as so much as I think he got massively compromised in the first round of films that he, let's call it the first round of releases. I've always felt like he got massively compromised, and by the time the extended editions come out, he was finally being able to put out the film that he wanted to put out. That's how I always took it, you know. So adding little lines here and things like that, just like you say, it's pretty cool. It's interesting, isn't it? You know what I mean? Because it's only like a year after, and then all of a sudden there's an extra line in.
Definitely, you got to remember, like, obviously Star Wars started small. It got like a limited release in America, and it got big as word got out, because obviously, like, internet's not a thing. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's like, as people start, the Star Wars is out, and you've seen it. It's like nothing we've ever seen before. Obviously, I wasn't around at the time, but like that was the crack. So as word got out, so it had a really long cinema run because it like grew as the year went on, and audience wise, as different towns got it and more cinemas got it. They'll probably have to make more cinema reels for it, like get it out like quick enough. Do you know what I mean? So I think obviously by the time we go, the studio Fox will probably like, yep, well, it's a phenomenon. We're going to re-release it. As soon as the run's finished, we're going to re-release it across the country all at once. I bet George was like, oh well, I want to put this line. I've watched it. I think this line adds more to the story, because I think it does. The line talks about the importance of Obi-Wan Kenobi going and deactivating the tractor beam essentially. So he obviously felt that's needed for the audience to fully understand what's going on. And they went, yeah, put it in, and then it means it's come out with that new line type of thing. So it's like, it goes to show, like, you got to think, like, it's great that, like, for me, I'm glad, for example, 1997, I'm glad it got remastered and got specialised, because I got to watch it in cinemas because I never had that chance before. And, like, if you give me an opportunity to see Star Wars in a cinema, like, I'm going to take it. So, like, if more stuff like that happens, I don't mind, because it's like, get in.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And that adds to the film. It's a better, do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Definitely. And then that is a rundown of all of the news from the last week. Alan, have you got any closing thoughts on anything?
Just I'm a little bit, you know, I'm trying not to get excited about the Target stuff, because I just got a real feeling it's going to be a bugger to get a hold of.
Well, if you let me know what you want, I can probably sort it out.
Yeah, I'll have a proper look through it all, maybe later on today.
Just send me a text, mate. We'll get that sorted for you.
And you're so cool, Peter. It's just exciting stuff. Everything's seems like it's starting to wind itself back up again, and you know, it's plenty of stuff to look. I can't wait for the Mandalorian season 2 to come out. I just can't, you know.
Yeah, I think like I'm going to get Mandalorian season 2 like this autumn. We're going to get the trailer in the next few weeks. I think they're going to be announcing more shows. I can see them announcing more Disney Plus stuff. Just stuff, maybe not like stuff that's ready, but they're going to announce projects, because I can just see them announcing it, because there's probably things we're going to announce in Celebration.
Yeah.
And there's no Celebration now, so now they can spread it out over the next few months. It started with the Bad Batch, so they've already started doing it. And they're going to spread these things out. And I think we're going to have an action-packed few months of things to talk about, I think.
Yeah, and I think even starting today, you know what I mean? The SDCC, there's going to be stuff coming out of there, so...
Yeah, so obviously we've got that publishing panel coming, so I think like we're probably going to get even more stuff out this High Republic.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is going to be fun. So I think next time we record, we'll probably have more information on that to talk about, as well as other projects as well. Because you got to remember, they are doing this High Republic publishing initiative, but they're also publishing other things at the same time.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it really is the golden age of Star Wars. If you want to consume Star Wars, there's never been a better time to be alive, because it's across all mediums, all platforms, and there's just stuff coming all the time. So like I said, even though they put those movies back, as we discussed at the beginning, by a year each, it doesn't really bother me, because we've got so much other tasty meals, Star Wars tasty meals coming out with.
Tasty meals, Star Wars.
That's right. That's what I refer to as. Imagine in a restaurant and they keep bringing meals out. Even though those movies are now later on in the menu.
Well, you know, the friggin' Millennium Falcon was based on a hamburger, so...
Yeah. But like, even though those movies are now later down the menu, this menu still just stacked with all this other stuff, all these books, all these TV series, all these action figures, all this merch, animated series, live action TV series, books, comics, audio dramas they're doing. Like, it's just brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally agree with you. There's so much. You don't even know where to start.
Definitely. Well, thanks very much for joining us, Alan. Obviously, we're not gonna promote your social media, because you don't have any, because you're hiding from the government.
Yeah. Helicopter coming up, so I'm gonna have to be quick.
No worries. But yeah. Any closing thoughts, Alan?
No, just thanks for having us on, and everybody stay safe out there. You know, this thing hasn't gone yet, so just, you know, be wary, look after yourselves.
Definitely, everybody stay safe. And I know some listeners might not agree, but like, it's not about you, it's about everyone. Just please wear a mask when you're out in public, when you're out in the shops.
Exactly. Yes.
If we all do that, then in a few months we won't have to wear masks anymore.
Hopefully.
Definitely. But thank you very much, Alan. Thank you very much for listening. May the force be with you. Please follow us on Twitter at BoresStar. That's at BORESSTAR. And on Instagram and Facebook at Star Wars Podcast. You can also reach us on email at starwarspodcast@gmail.com. The Star Wars Show can be found on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, and wherever podcasts can be found. Please give us a like, subscribe, and don't forget to leave a 5-star review. May the force be with you.